Morning. Well, I thought I'd resume the ride I went on yesterday and had to abort because of a rip in the tyre. It's around 9:45 at the moment and the temperature is 27 degrees already, so it's going to be a bit of a hot one, so I'm not going to be out that long, but it's a glorious day though, not moaning. I thought I'd, while I'm on this ride, just cover a few points I have done in the past, because people are still sort of asking, and I still see the same questions in some of the posts on other people's trike videos. So I thought I'd address them in my own way. They're my opinions, they're only opinions, but they're tried and tested and they work for me, and maybe they might work for you. So yeah, so along the ride I'll just cover a few things like feet and leg length and silly stuff like that as we go along, and they give me something to do as well. Yes, it's lovely. So I thought I'd go out into the countryside today. I've got a bit of, I suffer from hay fever, so I'm a bit drugged up at the moment, but I get it in the eyes, even though I've had a sniff of the old anti-hay fever liquid. It works well, except for still gets me in the eyes. So, onwards we go. Okay, this is where I was yesterday when I had to turn back because of the hole in my tyre. Beautiful. It's getting really hot. Okay, let's talk about feet. Now, some of the older, wiser cyclists will have worked a lot of this out, so please forgive me if I seem to be telling it to suck eggs, as they say. But let's go back to basics, yeah? Shoes, cycling shoes. Lots of different types on the market. Some of them are wide, some of them are not so wide. They're narrow. That's up to you, whatever you're comfortable in, and that's what it's about. Comfort. Making yourself comfort, and most of all, making your feet comfortable. So, yeah. Now, cleats. There's a few different types of cleats on the market. None of them are any good unless they're set up correctly. They will all give you problems if you've not set them up correctly. Get to that later. Okay, cycling socks. Ordinary socks will make your feet sore. There's a reason why. When you have sports socks, like running or cycling socks, they're a tighter weave. So when you put them on your feet, they don't act like cheese graters underneath and make your feet sore like a normal weave will do. It's bigger. The weave on a normal sock is bigger. Actually, I've tried woolen socks and they're quite good as well, as long as they're tight. Okay, the other thing is foot care. Personally, before I go for a ride, I will moisturise my feet and then put my socks on. Love your feet. If you love your feet, they will love you. Okay, back to cleats. Cleats. Now, when you think about it, you're pushing down on the size of a 10p piece, or in America, a quarter. And that's where the whole of the pressure goes onto if you've got Shimano cleats. So, you know, think about it. Hour after hour pushing down on an area that's the size of a 10p piece. You know, now if you don't sort of try and make that, alleviate that, you've got problems. Now, shoes. I wear my shoes as loose as I can possibly get them, because then your feet move around inside the shoe and the blood circulates. If you do your shoes up too tight, that is one of the problems you get with numb feet. And the other problem you get from numb feet is cleat adjustment. Now, this is personal choice to a point, but you'll find that the further back you push your cleats when you're riding a trike, the better it is. Now, I would suggest you see a good trike dealer and ask for his advice. My hair always stands up on end when I go underneath there. It's the static. Now, ask a good dealer about cleat adjustment. But if your feet are going numb, there's only two things that create that. That's cleat adjustment, they're in the wrong place, and having your shoes done up too tight. Simple as that. What I do sometimes is to readjust them, because let's face it, as you get older things change, and each foot is different as well, don't forget that. I push my cleats as far back as they will possibly go, then work them forward till I get to a comfortable position, and then go for a long ride. So that's the only way to try them out. And if it's still not working, then move them. But don't keep moving them about, otherwise you do it for the rest of your life. You've got to keep adjusting it till you find out on a long run which suits you the best. It's never going to be 100%, because let's face it, you're pushing down on the size of a 10p piece or a quarter, and you've got to give your feet a rest from time to time and set your shoes up and everything correctly. Which brings us to legs. Beautiful. It was very inquisitive. They usually come over and have a look at you. They're not frightened of you. Well, they're too silly to be frightened of you, but they come and have a look because they're very inquisitive. it's nice to get under the shade. That sun is fierce. It's a bit busy this road today. Usually not so many cars. Okay, let's talk about legs. Legs. Okay, leg length on a trike is one of the most important things you have to get right. Otherwise, you're going to suffer all the time. Okay, leg length. Let's have a quick demonstration. That's the easiest way. Right, put your heel on the pedal and wobble it about until you get it dead out, so it's the furthest out. Now look, that's what you need, just that little bend. Just that little bend. You don't need no more than that. That will stop you from overstretching your knee, because what happens is once you put your foot back in the cleat, if you can get in, that's it. Look, the leg length becomes greater. If you put your foot down, it's even more tighter, but it will still go. You should be able to still straighten your leg by pushing it down, but you should still be able to straighten your leg, but not while you're going along. It should have that reflection. So as you're pedaling, but when you get to there, it's still not out straight, but you can still push it down straight. That is where it should be. If you're getting pains in your knees, that means you haven't got sufficient movement here and you're flexing your knee out too much, so it's pulling your knee out. You should always have that bend in your knee when it's fully out and your cleats are in, otherwise you're going to overstretch your knee and hurt. Now that really, you know, and sometimes you want to muck around with it. Again, it's personal choice. Some people like it a little bit more out, some people like it a little bit more back. But again, that's up to you to sort of tweak that as you go along and find out. But again, don't keep adjusting it. Adjust it, ride it for a good 50 miles, off and on, see how it feels. If it's still not comfortable, then adjust it. Or go to a dealer, get him to look at it, and they usually have a very good idea if they're trike minded, and they can look at you and see how you're pedaling and whatever and adjust it for you to set you off, and then you might want to tweak it a little bit yourself to make it personalised. But always remember, again, each leg, each foot is different. Some people's one leg is longer than the other, some foot are wider or thicker than the other, so you've got to keep that into mind as well when you're setting it up. And once it's set up, you can go on for years with the same setup. Another one is the seat. You should have it back a little bit. Don't have it upright, because let's face it, do you cycle or walk like an L shape? Some people sit upright, and that's no good for your thighs and, you know, again, your leg length. It helps your thighs and your legs work if you're laid back. That's the idea of them. Recumbents are a laid back bike. So the more laid back you are, the more comfortable you are. But you want to adjust the seat so it goes back so you can hold your head up comfortably. If you're not, it's too far back. If you've got a pain in your neck, you've got it too far back. But to have them upright to cycle, you're doing your thighs no good and you're doing the leg length no good. Again, think about it. Do you walk in the shape of an L. No, you don't. It's not a natural position. So again, this is all personal choice and things I've found over the years, you know, that I've been cycling and talking to people. So, if you've got your legs and your cleats and your trike sorted out, you should be able to cycle at least 50 miles without stopping, comfortably, and at your own pace, of course. But the little tip is, when you have to stop at traffic lights, put your feet down, unclip them from the cleats and put your feet down flat. Them couple of minutes help get the blood back into your feet. So when you put them back up again, the blood's back into the spot where the cleats are. You're pushing down with the cleats, and it also gives your ankles a bit of a rest. They can sort of get themselves back in. So that makes it comfortable as well. Today, this ride will be 50 miles, no problem. And I just take a drink with me as well. I'll drink out of my canister. I've got a couple of oranges on me. I'll probably stop about halfway, about 25 mile, and then or just stop to look at some nice views, basically. But you should be able to do 50 miles at least comfortably, so when you get home you're not in pain. If you are, then you're set up wrong. Simple as that. This is Burnham Beaches. Used to have a great little cafe here. All things change. The people who've taken it over have forgotten this is a country park, and it looks more like Butlins now. All the tables and the canopies, where before it felt like a country cafe, and as soon as they got in there the tea went up 50p, and I refused to pay £1.50 for a tea bag and some warm water, which is bloody ridiculous. So I'm afraid a lot of the cyclists have given up stopping here now. You don't have the facilities, don't have a good range of cakes and things as well. Shame really, but maybe he might learn as he goes on. Morning. Yeah, pity, but there you go. I know plenty of other places I can stop for a cup of tea if I feel like it, but I very rarely stop, so I stop more when I'm riding with Adrian and Barry. I think Barry's the same actually. When he's out on his own, he just keep going. I'm a bit like that. I don't know when to stop. Superb, isn't it? That's the beautiful thing about a trike, is you can make it quiet like that, and you don't disturb the wildlife. You can stop and see the deer come out or whatever. It's really nice. It's a lovely time of year, this, when the canopy's up there. It's beautiful round here any time of the year though, really. Winter, the fall, superb. It's always a picture. It's a beautiful place. It's a nice place just to come and think, contemplate one's navel. I get some ideas for book stories coming through here. That's why I carry a little tape recorder. Got it around my neck at the moment. So if I get a little bit of inspiration, I can record it. Like at the moment I'm researching for book 3. Just thinking through. I don't want to start writing, otherwise I'm going to miss all this weather. Stuck in a room writing. I'd rather be out here cycling and talking to you. What are they doing? Thank you. Many years ago there used to be a calf just in there. It used to be called the Dell, and it was there for donkey's years. It was just in that pit down there. It's all overgrown now, but it was a brilliant calf, and then they decided to stop him from doing that, and then they opened that one back up there, which is a shame. So that was Burnham Beeches, and now we're, I don't know where to go now. Let's just see, suck it and see where I end up. Such a gorgeous day. Might as well spend the day out today, I think. Watch out for marauding cows. It's not the cows you worry about, it's the bulls. Yeah, I'm just coming out of really quite a few months of not riding regularly. I don't know if you noticed not a lot of videos over this year and the end of last year, because I was having my varicose veins operated on. I had my right leg done just before Christmas and couldn't ride for quite a few weeks. Then it was the winter, so it all slowed down, and it takes a while for it to sort of come back, your legs, and you have to walk and exercise it. And then this year I had the left leg done, and fantastic, honestly, well worth doing. Don't let your doctor or local authority fob you off on saying that they won't do it because it's cosmetic, because it actually changes your life. I can do 50 to 100 miles now and get back, and my legs are not aching like they used to. They used to be terrible. It used to take forever to calm down because of the varicose veins. Plus, when you get the sheet, it tells you about varicose veins and the things why you should have them done. Then you realise that it's just a cost-cutting exercise by the Tories to stop you from having them done by calling it cosmetic surgery, which is not. It changes your life, and you've got the right to have it done, and it does change your life. It's fantastic. They're a little bit tender still because the nerves, because you can imagine the sort of the nerves that run down with the veins, they get disturbed. So I'll still get a little bit of twinging and that now and again. And funny enough, now they've both of them done, they've sort of synchronised themselves now. they're both painful in the same places, which is odd, where one of them wasn't. They seem to have sort of come out in sympathy with each other. But they're getting there, and that's great. I'm well pleased I went through the operations to have them done. Not very nice. I don't like anaesthetics and all that. They always make me feel ill and take me ages to get over them. And I'm always frightened it's going to affect my eyesight as well. It's bad enough as it is. But lucky enough, it's all gone well, and I'm very pleased. I've got a bit of a problem with my right ankle. I damaged it a few years ago, and it's never been 100%. And I think there's a little touch of arthritis in it now. But what I do is put a little bit of Voltarol on it just before I come out on a bike ride, and just take a ibuprofen tablet, and like I say, every now and again just put my foot down to give the ankle a rest, and it's okay. Like at the moment, nothing, not a twinge, so I'm well pleased. So at 65, I'm not doing too bad, I think. All under control so far. I'm still enjoying myself. Some great trees out here. Look at that beauty. It's been there a few years, that one. What a nice house that is. I'm coming down on one brake. Oh. Sorry about that. Just needed 2 brakes instead of 1. Thought it was better for my health. Time for a drink, I think, and an orange or two. Best to go around the back. Oh, jolly good show. Well parked. Let's find a nice piece of shelter. That looks nice. What the hell is that? That's nice. Different. Wow. I wonder how long that'll last before someone steals it. Time for a rest, I think. I'm about halfway round, so it's time to consume a couple of oranges and a bottle of water. I must admit, I need it. It's got to be getting on for 28, 29 degrees now. It's quite fierce. Whew. Can't beat an orange. Don't know what to make of it. This is called Bolter's Lock, up on the Thames. This is quite a long route into Windsor now. I decided to come around the long way to Windsor and then back home that way. make more of a ride. Yeah, well pleased. My God, it's hot though. It's a real hot one. Panting a bit. But it's nice though. See, these trees keep you in the shade. It's really nice. So a lot of it's like this on the way to Windsor, so it's not going to be too bad. Whew. Yeah, I must admit I was struggling towards the end there. Heat was getting to me. It must be, or was getting up to about 37, 38. At one point they reckon it could have been at least 40 over by Heathrow. So I was struggling on the way home with just the heat. Bit of a disappointment. I dropped the camera just after the last shot and broke something inside, and it won't go on and off now. So that's another dead camera. I'm getting very low on these flip cams now. I think I've got about 2 left, and they're quite hard to get hold of now. And they're either really too expensive to buy, silly money, or they're the old type. But these particular 3rd generation ones are quite hard to get hold of now, and the batteries are impossible to get hold of, the flip batteries. But yeah, I did struggle a little bit, but as you can see I got home. It was a good ride, and here's to the next one.